Hello, I'm Dee Sarton on the board of Operation Military Blessings, and I'm here to tell you about a way we can all help support our military. When we think about treating our military members with dignity and respect, it's easy to say, "Thank you for your service," or make a social media post on Memorial Day. What is not easy is hearing the stories of our servicemen and women that struggle with economic hardships while they're protecting our great nation, and then wondering, how can you help? When Operation Military Blessings was founded, it was aimed at addressing the difficulties that the most junior grade military families were experiencing every day. Unfortunately, those difficulties continue to be present across all branches of our military. It's important to remember that these working class families, they often live paycheck to paycheck, and they can find themselves buried by unforeseen adversity. Medical bills, car repairs, groceries not lasting through the week. The Operation Military Blessings program sponsors and supporters feel that these circumstances are unacceptable. Operation Military Blessings is a not-for-profit organization that was founded by veterans to advocate and support military families suffering financial hardship. There are no salaries, and there is less than 1% overhead to keep this program going. So every dollar donated is used to find solutions for those who need them.
Well, I think first of all, going back to my time when I was in the service, watching particularly the enlisted men struggle with just meeting their basic needs. And I think, particularly those with families and anything from housing to just having a decent car to get back and forth or whatever it might be.
Operation Military Blessing truly was a blessing for me as the commanding general, because it gave us resources to help provide assistance for those that were in desperate need. And sometimes the need was really pretty desperate. Just for putting food on the table became a real issue. Housing was always an issue for them.
As a counselor, and my primary job is taking care of people, right? That is my heart, is taking care of people. That's why I counsel, not a financial advisor for that reason. It's heartbreaking when somebody comes in, when my main concern is, do you have a roof over your head and do you have food in your belly? And when I hear, oh no, I don't have enough for the food. I may have the roof, but I don't have enough for the food. That's one of our necessities. We have to have that in order to survive as a human. So having Operation Military Blessing to say, we can help you, we can assist, we care about you, that is huge.
Nothing bothers me more than to hear the pain or the suffering of anyone, let alone our military families. And when we receive the testimonials from Operation Military Blessings of the little we give, whether it's $50, $100, $1,500, thousands, depending on the need, the testimonials will break your heart. When you're talking to a mother who cannot pay for prescriptions for her children, or a mother whose husband is deployed and cannot buy food, and I'm embarrassed to say our government tells them to sign up for food stamps.
As you get raised for just the cost of living that they do every year. But even that sometimes doesn't really keep up, because when you're not paid a livable wage at that point and you get a cost of living wage, it really doesn't bring it up. It just brings it up to where you were anyway. So you're still kind of in the impoverished state, especially if you have a family.
In my different positions as a governor, as a United States Senator serving on the Senate Armed Services Committee, as a cabinet member, I have seen so many examples of the dedication and professionalism of the men and women in the military, as well as their sacrifice. And for many of these young enlisted families, they have some stressful times. I recently heard of some different examples. For example, one man confided that after moving his family of 5 into a new home, he now had $25 for the next 2 weeks to feed that family of 5. I heard of a young woman whose loved one was deployed overseas and the car broke down. Well, they had to fix the family car, and the funds that were necessary to fix the car stretched their budget, and they had a beautiful baby at home that needed food and diapers. In both of those instances, we're blessed that there's an organization that exists that stepped in and helped them.
For more than 2 decades, Operation Military Blessings has helped military families struggling through financial hardship and crisis events. Whether through emergency food relief and gift cards or direct financial grants, OMB provides immediate support to military families with no expectation of repayment.
We had an incident where an individual lost his belongings and his home to a house fire shortly before the Christmas season. So obviously the individual is devastated by the loss and didn't have adequate insurance as many younger soldiers and airmen don't. And so through the support of Operation Military Blessing, he was able to replace much of what he lost and was given a lump sum cash donation or check donation in the amount of $25,000 to see him through this crisis period in his life. And I think besides just the money, it gives individuals like him the assurance that people care for him more than just being a Marine or a sailor or a soldier or an airman, but as an individual, as a human being, to help him out in this desperate time of his need. And especially, as I mentioned, just prior to the holidays, a season where there's generally a lot of joy and happiness, and this individual was devastated by the loss. And so Operation Military Blessing was truly very, very helpful to him at this time.
When someone volunteers to serve their country, that service comes with the reasonable expectation that they can provide for their family. But when you look at military pay statistics, that expectation has fallen far too short for many families. Studies show that 31% of the most junior grade military families are food insufficient. Here's a shocking statistic that will probably surprise you and disappoint you. 1 in 8 of our military members on food stamps. And furthermore, the average junior grade military family would not be able to afford a $1,000 emergency without going into debt to weather the storm.
I see the numbers that food insecurity is a thing, right? It does exist. It exists in the military. It exists, unfortunately, for our younger ranks, particularly because their pay is very low. When you look at their actual take-home pay, it's not high in relation to the cost of living right now. So when Operation Military Blessings came online and I was made fully aware of the available donations, it cut the time. People were able to come in. We were able to help them immediately, whereas there are some avenues that our military members can utilize, but it takes time. And that time, when you're talking about food, is very detrimental. When you need food on the table for dinner, having to wait 2, 3, 4 days for somebody to decide whether they're going to grant you any money, it is very demoralizing.
Every citizen of the United States should know how desperate it is for our lower military ranks. They are struggling to pay for food, they're struggling to pay their rent, they're struggling to pay for prescriptions, they're struggling to pay for their cars or repairs or medical services. That should not be. They should be honored and revered, and we as citizens, we owe it to them. They're working for us and protecting us each and every day.
Operation Military Blessings offers solutions for issues like these. Their financial assistance program provides immediate cash gift card assistance through partnerships with Walmart, Albertsons, Fred Meyer, Defense Commissary Food, and other major grocery and retail stores. Military members who are married with at least one child are double vetted to determine eligibility and to guarantee the program's integrity and accountability. It also helps the program provide immediate help to those who need it. While assistance can be offered at any time of the year, special Thanksgiving and Christmas assistance is also a big part of Operation Military Blessings, providing high-end toys and full holiday meals for our hardship military families.
I'm glad that there's programs out there like this. There's a lot of them that are, but this one really takes account into the E5 and below. to where they make sure that kids at Christmas time have presents, that there's Christmas trees there for kids to put those presents under, that there's money if the family gets in a crisis or something happens. And I think that it's helped a lot of airmen, soldiers and airmen and Marines out there. And that's why I'm part of it.
An emergency should never deny you groceries, gasoline, toiletries, a seat at Thanksgiving dinner, or a special gift under the tree. Operation Military Blessings has been providing assistance for decades to families in the Army, Navy, Air Force, National Guard and Reserves, and Coast Guard. And thanks go to our wonderful sponsors and partnerships. In order to serve our military members around the world as they deserve, we need to expand those sponsorships as well as nurture the grant process. The goal with Operation Military Blessings is to make it accessible within health and wellness and to include monetary relief for needs beyond just groceries and crisis events. The need is already there, and the benefits, they can be life-changing.
Yeah, what prompted Blue Cross of Idaho or me as the CEO to participate in Operation Military Blessings? That was an easy decision. Blue Cross is mission-driven. We commit to serving all that need us, all that live in Idaho, work for an Idaho company, and this was an extension. These are individuals that are protecting the life that we have, the liberty we have here in Idaho, and they need our help.
This organization is going to expand. It needs to expand. There are lots more needs than we're taking care of right now.
In the last 13 years alone, Operation Military Blessings has distributed over $750,000 directly to Idaho families. I am proud that our Idaho-based Operation Military Blessing reaches beyond Idaho to help military families across our nation during times of need.
I just see it getting bigger and bigger and bigger as the word gets out about it, because I think people will see that it fulfills that need. Yeah, keeps our military strong.
So when we see the magnificent men and women and we say thank you, there's another way we can enhance that thank you, and that's by supporting Operation Military Blessings. And not only is this program serving those that are in the United States of America, but also our troops that are deployed overseas. So again, to the troops, all branches of the military, thank you for serving. And we stand with you. And another way that we can stand with these magnificent men and women is supporting Operation Military Blessings.
As governor, I encourage all Idahoans to thank our men and women in uniform for their valiant service, and to consider acting on our shared gratitude by supporting Operation Military Blessings and their life-changing work.
We started 27 years ago as a number of veterans who had a heart for those that were still serving in the military, particularly young military families. We heard about some families needed some help, so we all reached into our pockets and helped a number of families. But as the years went by, it was determined that we would actually be a little bit more formal. We incorporated as a 501(c) corporation, as a nonprofit, and hence the beginning of Operation Military Blessings. Operation Military Blessings is not only here in 9 locations in Idaho at the Gowan Field, a very large a National Guard and Reserve contingent, but Mountain Home Air Force Base. We're at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. We're at RAF Lakenheath in England. We're at the NATO base at Ramstein Air Base in Germany. We have just brought on the Coast Guard down in Jacksonville, Florida, and 15 other bases will come on this November. We help young families in a very structured program, not only during the Christmas time, but throughout the year. Our donations come from individuals, from corporations, our board of directors, it's all spelled out on our web page. You may want to look at that at operationmilitaryblessings.org. And I invite you to be part of the outreach that we have here to our military in Idaho. And I invite you to partner with us. Give us a call. go to our webpage, once again, Operation Military Blessings. Look at our policies, look at our board of directors, which are very impressive. We are not only national and within a state, we literally are international around the globe.
If you're ready to help Operation Military Blessings yourself, please follow the link below to contact us or donate directly. Thank you for watching. And please pray for all those who faithfully serve to keep, protect, and preserve justice, hope, and love. Thank you for watching.